Stop doing stuff without permission. Hey, welcome back. How you doing? I just watched Norbit, so that was stuck in my head. They're like, how you doing? Shout out to Respucia. Respucia. That's a funny movie. Yeah, welcome back to the Darn Randolph Show. I hope y'all are doing good. Hope y'all got a smile on y'all's face. Hope y'all ready to get the day started off on a good note. Or if you're not watching this on the day, whenever y'all watching this, how y'all doing? How you doing? Like I just said before, I feel like I was the definition, or I'm actively getting out of that. The definition of doing stuff without permission. And there's like two sides to that coin. There's the doing stuff without permission, like blazing a trail, being a trailblazer. But there's also doing stuff without permission, like doing stuff in the wrong timing. And I think I teeter that line a lot. And I want to assume a lot of people do too, because this was a common thing somebody was talking to me about. And I was kind of doing like a recap of my whole life. And I'm like, dang, I done made some idiotic choices, decisions, because I did stuff without permission. I did stuff in the wrong time. Like, I think about, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is the most like candid I could be. I like talking to y'all. I used to get whooped until maybe 9th or 10th grade. I used to get whooped probably once a week. Like, I was a bad kid. And majority of the stuff I was doing was just me doing stuff without permission, just doing stupid stuff, thinking like I was grown, thinking I was grown. I was not. Like I remember stupid stuff from as little as like my mom would tell me the food isn't ready yet, and I would still like open up the stove or open up the oven, pull out the oven, and like eat some of the food, like get whooped, or like telling me not to eat something, and I'd open up the fridge and eat some food anyway, stuff like that. And then I remember when I got to middle school, this is not how I wanted to start this, but quick little story time. When I got to middle school, we were at the church, and after church, we were there for a prolonged amount of time, and there was this one in particular person that would let me drive her car. She was like, yeah, you can drive your car. I think I was 13 at this time, so I'm just now learning how to drive. She lets me drive her car, so I'm driving my car. Boom. And a couple of weeks go by. This is probably like the third, fourth week, and I'm doing good. I'm just driving in the back parking lot, nothing crazy. This in particular week, I decided I wanted to get on Snapchat. Mind you, I'm 13 years old. I was not supposed to have Snapchat until I turned 16, so I already violated one rule. But I'm on Snapchat, and you feel me? I'm flexing, like I'm feeling good. I'm stunting. I got for the visual people, I got the phone right here. I'm still driving. And then I didn't realize that I was getting a little bit too close to the wall, and I wrecked the car. And after I wrecked the car, I decided that it's not as bad as it seems. It was completely damaged, like totaled. And I was able to back it up instead of pulling it in, because I knew if I backed it up, it was on the passenger side. So if I backed it up, then the lady wouldn't see it. This is terrible, by the way. I'm laughing through the pain. I backed it up, and I handed her the keys. And as I handed her the keys, I jokingly said, I was like, haha, I wrecked your car. And I laughed about it to give her the perception that I was joking. She sees me, she looks at me, locks eyes with me. She's like, boy, stop playing. And I laughed. I'm like, okay. And then I ran away, and I hid for her the rest of the time. She eventually got in the car, drove away. I'm thinking it's good, it's solid. No, she don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happens. I'm survived. 15 minutes later, my mom gets a call. She's da-da-da-da. Your son took my keys. Da-da-da-da-da. He wrecked my car. Da-da-da-da-da. Now my car's smoking. Da-da-da-da-da. What am I supposed to do? You gotta da-da-da. I get in so much trouble. Caveat to that point, that I just want. She gave me the keys. I didn't take the keys. She gave it to me. But regardless, I did stuff without permission. And then I get a little bit older. So that's just one example, or I guess that's two examples now, maybe three examples. I did a lot of stuff. I told you I was getting whooped all the time. I get older, and I go. I'm playing basketball. This is my senior year, and there's this one school. It's a D2 school that offers me a scholarship, tells me all these things. We want you to be our starting point guard, yada yada, blah blah blah. And then in my head, I'm like, but it's D2. Like, I for sure want to go D1. There's this one D1 school that contacts me last minute, and they're like, yeah, we'll take you. Like, real casual, real like, we don't really want you, but like, you pretty cool. And hindsight would tell you to go where you celebrated, go where you're supposed to go. You feel me? I wasn't listening to all that. I was fueled by what I wanted to do and what the optics looked like. So I went to that D1 school. Barely played, had a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. And that D2 school that I like should have went to turned into a D1 school. It also was in the city that like I strive to be in one day, and it's so funny. So anyway, that school turns D1. I end up transferring and not even playing for that school, and it's a hot mess, just doing stuff without permission. And then the most recent one, I was actually talking to my wife, and thank God it worked out that I can call her my wife this. I lived in Knoxville, which is like an hour 30, like an hour 30 away from Chattanooga. Chattanooga's where I'm from. And I moved back to Chattanooga to be closer to her. And I left a good job to go to a not as great job. And I did all of that just because I wanted to be closer to her. Now, thank God that worked out. But doing stuff without timing, doing stuff without permission. And when I mean permission, I mean God. Like, there's a verse, and this is the verse that I'm finna get into. I feel like that was kind of long-winded, but the verse that I wanted to get into was James 1:15. It says, "These desires give birth to sinful actions, and when sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death." Sin is because of desire, and then after sin is death. Desire, sin, death. And that was the path that I often went on because of my actions. Like desire, I wanted to drive the car. The sin, I lied about it. The death was the punishment. Again, you could think about basketball. The desire to be this D1 athlete. The sin, not following or doing the path that I was supposed to. As a result, I don't play basketball no more, nor do I live in the place that I would have been in if I would have listened. Like you can continuously track down like what you wanted to do and how that led to you messing up and the consequences of you messing up. And as a result, we always get in like certain situations. The moral of that is just doing stuff without permission. I was listening to this pastor. His name is Tim Timberlake. Real cool pastor. He breaks stuff down kind of like Philip Anthony Mitchell. They got this podcast called Street Preachers. And this wasn't on one of his podcasts. It was on one of his sermons. He was talking about the venom in our spirit and how it kills us slowly. Like if you think about venom or poison, when it gets inside of us, it doesn't change us immediately. It has a slow lingering effect. Sometimes it can even give the perception that we are okay, but by the time we realize it, oftentimes it's too late. And he was paralleling that to the sin in our lives and how we will compromise or rationalize one sin, and before we know it, that one sin is spread to everything, and our bodies, our destinies, our dreams, our hopes are dead. Now, we serve a God that can revitalize that stuff, so we say, thank you, Jesus. But why even get in the position to where he has to revitalize it? Why can't we just live out the life that we're supposed to live out? The key reason that we can't do that is because our desires are naturally evil. We are all born in sin and shaped in iniquity. This shows us that we naturally want things that are not conducive with the life that God has to offer for us. We are naturally liars. Like if you think of babies are naturally selfish. It's just their general makeup. They want mama's tatas as soon as they are hungry. They want to be changed and they want to be fed as soon as they want. They don't care about everybody else. They don't have the worldview, the perception of other people. And that's just because they're not completely cognizant. So most of the times we are spiritually infant, or we are still in that spiritual infancy to where we want stuff regardless of what it looks like. We want this relationship regardless of if we're ready or not. We want this job regardless of if this is going to pay dividends or actually going to propel us to our future or just put money in our pockets. We want to do this, we want to do that. And oftentimes a lot of it is not the correct thing to do, but it's our desire. And because we're being fueled by our desires, which we should not be, by the way, but because we are being fueled by our desires, it leads us to fall into sin. And people think of sin as like the steal, kill, lie. Pride is a sin, like falling away and being so strucken by what you want to do that you can't listen to what the right thing is. That's a sinful lifestyle. That's a desire-filled lifestyle. And as a result of that, is death. Death could be the death of your joy. Death could be the death of your peace, your happiness, your love. It could also be the literal death, which I pray never happens to us, or it never happens to anybody until, we die and then we go to heaven. I don't want us to die and go to hell. You feel me? Or it could be the death of our job. It could be the death of the dream that God has given us. He'll take it away and give it to somebody else because we're not stewarding it correctly. Death can be a lot of things, and it's all a result from our desires that we are not taking care of properly. So I feel like that kind of got heavy for a minute. But so the solution to all of that is just to wait. There's a Joan in Joshua chapter 5 and 6 that talks about God telling Joshua and the Israelites to walk around the Jericho wall 7 times, 7 days. I think it's 7 times in 7 days. And on the 7th day, he'll hand the people inside the Jericho wall over to them. And I'd be thinking about, like, imagine you go a day early, like your whole mission ruined. And that's because you got too excited and you want to follow your desires. You couldn't be still, wait, and be patient. Like, think about somebody making, what am I going to eat for dinner? I think I'm eating like chicken or something for dinner. So imagine, like, we cook dinner and 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes in, 5 minutes in, somebody take it out the oven and eat it. That's raw chicken. You're sick. You're stupid and you're sick. And that's how, like, it is most of the times. Us doing stuff prematurely forces us to be sick, forces us to be in predicament that we shouldn't have been in the first place if we would have just been patient and just waited. And that's really all it is. Like, the desire tells us to do stuff now. Wisdom often tells us to wait for the right time to strike. When it's the right time to strike, we strike and we conquer in the name of Jesus. So I think about, like, the stuff I did when I was a kid. I got whooped for a lot of the stuff when if I would have just waited, nothing bad would have happened. But because I was doing stuff prematurely, bad things came as a result in it. There's such a value in waiting. And that's something I am continuously learning through my friends, through my family, through situations that I'm in. So I hope this was helpful. It was really just a rant. I had like a little story time, a little flashback of me getting whooped a lot, all the time. I used to get whooped, like, in the shower, out the shower, waking up in the middle of the night, whooped. Backseat of the car, she would smack me. I'd get punched. If y'all know my mom, she's one of the sweetest people on earth. She also strong. Yeah, that scared me. But I'm a grown man now, and I'm better, and I don't get whooped no more. But I still get punished because we have to pay for the consequences that we make, or we have to pay for the consequences that we make. That didn't make any sense. We have to pay for the actions that we do. We have consequences to our actions, and we just have to be cognizant of what we're doing. So yeah. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for listening. I love y'all so much. Smile at somebody, tell somebody you love them, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.